our business coaches helped a lot of folks apply for EIDL and PPP loans. And for those of you out there that did receive a PPP loan, you can apply for loan forgiveness. Our coaches will also help with ideas. We had a couple clients that had retail stores that needed to go online, so building e-commerce sites. Any sort of marketing plans. Everyone's had to learn Zoom, Teams, all different types of technology solutions, so our business coaches can help. And also, we get 2 calls. One, we get calls for how to write a business plan. Number 2, how can a business entrepreneur access more funding? So we've got a great list of grants and loans available to entrepreneurs. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our speaker today. So with great gratitude, both my good friend and an amazing international speaker, Gaia Calcaterra. She has over 25 years of experience as an entrepreneur, amazing leadership skills and speaking skills. She has business ventures she's launched with Architecture LLC, Invest Edge in the US, Stone Code Pty Limited in Melbourne, Australia, Bernikai Coatings in Shanghai, China, and Empire Studio in Johannesburg, South Africa. Gaia is passionate about sharing what she's learned about leadership, entrepreneurship, and business with others, and has developed and led multi-day seminars and trainings for various businesses. Without further ado, let's give a big round of applause for Gaia Calcaterra, that's going to share with us today about the Grateful Entrepreneur.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kerry Szymanski. Can everyone hear me okay?
And I'm going to share in just a moment. Yep. Okay.
Yes?
Yep.
Perfect. Wonderful. Well, good day to everyone. It's a pleasure to be here and quite an honor. And thank you so much to you, Dr. Szymanski, for inviting me here to speak. And also thank you so much to the Tampa Bay Women's Business Center for inviting me to speak here. It's an absolutely incredible organization, which I often call for mentoring advice to, and it's extremely valuable. So thank you. Very quickly, I wanted to take a couple of minutes to introduce myself. My name is Gaia Calcaterra. I'm an entrepreneur, and I've lived in a number of different countries and worked in a number of different countries. But I was born and raised in Johannesburg, South Africa. So hopefully that eliminates the question about my accent. And both of my parents are Italian, so I lived in Florence, Italy for a while, where I studied. I then moved to China and worked there. I've lived and worked in Australia, and I've now been here in the US for the last 12 years, and I call Fort Lauderdale in the lovely sunny South Florida my home. So as far as work experience, education experience, I have quite a mixed bag. I have a degree in fine arts, fresco painting to be specific. And then I have an MBA from Nova Southeastern University here in South Florida in business management. As far as work experience and what I do, I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm always busy with 20 million different things. I love business. I love the challenge of business. I love being involved in different businesses, and so it's constantly evolving. At the moment, I am involved in real estate. I have some vacation rental properties. I do rehabs. I do private lending, but I'm also involved in other things. So I recently started at the beginning of a pandemic an e-commerce business called lifeofgaia.com, which is all about spiritual products. And it's been my first sort of entry into e-commerce, and I'm absolutely loving the learning and the challenges around it and the people that I'm meeting and everything that I'm learning. So that's from a work point of view. From a nonprofit point of view, I have 2 projects that are very, very near and dear to my heart. And the first one is the Hope Floats project, which I created with a group of absolutely incredible volunteers. And it went to benefit Tomorrow's Rainbow, which is an organization here in Broward County that helps children who have lost both parents go through the grieving process. And then the second project started 4 years ago is the Gratitude Project, again, done with a group of amazing volunteers with no access to resources, no access to funding, and we were able to raise $350,000 and build a care center in South Africa for children of child-headed households. And for those of you who are not familiar with what that means, it means that typically a child loses both parents either to tuberculosis or HIV, and then it leaves the oldest child, who's typically 12, 13, 14, to look after all the younger siblings in the family. But the problem is this child is often HIV positive themselves. They have no access to resources or schooling or medical help of any kind. So we set up this project around that with the aim that no child stands alone. From a hobby perspective, I'm an avid Toastmaster, so love public speaking and love traveling, which has been limited a little bit now due to coronavirus, but still going over to Sedona for Thanksgiving, so excited about that. So that's a little bit about me. I'd like to take care of a couple of little items of housekeeping before we get started. I anticipate that, I imagine most of you know how to use Zoom, but if you do not, Dr. Kerry will be the host and the main panelist for this webinar. And so if you have any questions, you can direct it to her in the private chat, and she will let me know. Now, unfortunately, I can't see any of you. I imagine Dr. Kerry can see all of you, but I do encourage you to switch on your webcams and interact as much as possible in this webinar today, because it's really how you'll get the most out of it. Also, at the end, we're going to have a quick giveaway. So for all of those of you who stay on until the end, we will be giving away one Life of Gaia product. So Dr. Kerry will put your name in a hat and select whoever's here at the end. And we would love to give away one of your products of your choice at the end of this webinar. Another item is I would like to ask you to have a pen and piece of paper ready to do a little bit of writing. We're going to do some amazing interactive exercises around gratitude and your business. And if you don't have pen and paper, feel free to write it on your phone or on your computer, whatever works for you. So very quickly, the agenda for today. We are going to cover, I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story about why I started with gratitude and what it means to me. Then we're going to look at what is gratitude, why it's so important, and the science behind it, because there's actually a very specific science about it. Then we're going to look at, because most of us, I imagine, on this webinar are business owners, entrepreneurs, thinking of starting a business. We're going to look at how gratitude affects your business. And then we're going to look at a new way to look at gratitude. And I'd like to take you on a journey that takes you deeper into gratitude than just the superficial layer. So you might be asking, how did I get started with this whole gratitude story and why it means this much to me? And I'd like to share a little sort of story or situation that I had, and it was 2016, and we had just started working on the Gratitude Project. And basically our aim was to create this care center down in South Africa to help these children of child-headed households and overly vulnerable orphans. And so we have a person on the ground in South Africa, and I asked them to please start sending me photos that we could start using for fundraising purposes, put together marketing materials and all of that. And so this person's name is Hannes, and he very kindly started sending me, he's actually also a very, very good photographer. He started sending me literally folders and folders and folders of just daily situations that were happening on the ground in South Africa. And so I would spend, a couple of hours at a time going through these, and it started to really just sort of drop me into the day-to-day lives of a lot of these children and a lot of what they were experiencing and the hardships day to day and the illness and the lack of water. And so as part of what we were trying to provide with our fundraising efforts is that they literally needed everything. So clean water, okay, water that doesn't have disease in. They needed schools, they needed education, they needed teachers. But even before that, a simple thing like a pen and pencil were not available and are still not available. Food, you know, starting the day off hungry and spending the whole day hungry. Detergent, believe it or not, we supply a lot of detergents in our project because one of the primary causes of illness and disease is not having like clean clothes to wear, not being able to wash and all of that. So, you know, something that I completely took for granted before. They don't have parents, they don't have access to medication, they don't have a home. Literally everything is missing for these children, everything. And so, you know, as I was going through these photos and through these images, it started to just become like really, really overwhelming. I mean, there's a, you know, sadness to it, there was a hopelessness to it. There was and I just got very sort of emotional about the whole thing, and of sort of the idea that, you know, the problem was so large that there was no way that I could even, you know, anything I did would be like a drop in the ocean. And so, you know, I remember sitting at my desk and shutting down my computer screen and just kind of staring out the window, a little bit at a loss for what to do or how to tackle a problem, and if I should even tackle the problem. And I remember sort of bringing my focus in from outside, and I remember focusing on just a glass of water that I had next to my computer on my desk, sort of like this. And as I looked at it, I remember distinctly thinking, I was like, wow, I actually have a glass of clean, drinkable water. I mean, what a gift. And then right next to it was, you know, just a pen and a piece of paper that I write my notes on over here. And I thought, wow, you know, just like how amazing that I have access to pens and pieces of paper, and that, you know, my work or my education is not hampered because of a simple writing instrument that a lot of the world doesn't actually have. And then from there, I started to just look all around me, and I looked at my computer, and I looked at the fact that I had electricity, and not only just electricity, but that I was connected to the internet. And I thought, wow, what a gift that was too, that, you know, not everyone has electricity, not everyone has access to internet and therefore to the rest of the world. And then I started looking at my day, and I started looking at, wow, you know, I'd had a shower that morning, and not only did I have water on demand, I actually had hot and cold water on demand. You know, when you really think about it, the majority of the world doesn't have access to that. And then it just went on and on. I had clean clothes, I had food in the fridge, I was healthy for the most part. I mean, the abundance around me was incredible. And so I sat there in that moment and just became immensely, immensely grateful for everything that I had. And it gave me a renewed energy in what I could do. And I opened up my computer, and I had more drive and more ambition and more dedication to this project than ever before, because I decided that because of how much I had and how much I had to be grateful for, that I really didn't have any other option but to share it and be of service to others. And that if I could help even just one more person, just one, that it would be worth it. And so that's how the Gratitude Project started. Now, gratitude, as you can imagine, has always and always will be a part of my life. And I really, really encourage you to make it part of yours. I assure you it's a life-changing experience. So what is gratitude? Now, gratitude, you know, many of us express it by saying thank you to someone who's helped us or given us a gift. But from a scientific perspective, gratitude actually is not just an action, but it's a positive emotion, okay, that serves a biological purpose. And positive psychology actually defines gratitude in a way that scientists can measure it, okay? And they say that gratitude is a lot more than just feeling thankful. It's a much deeper appreciation for someone or something that produces long-lasting positivity. Now, don't just listen to me saying it, there's actually also a science behind it. And I came across this very interesting piece of science a couple of weeks ago. And it's something called the Hedonic Baseline. Okay, that's Hedonic Baseline. And what this is that each of us are born with a happiness baseline that can be improved, or basically improved from choices that we make each day. So to sort of explain in simple terms, you have this baseline of happiness that you return to, right? So you might get a new car and temporarily the happiness factor goes up, but then ultimately it returns to your baseline happiness. And this isn't all that bad because it seems to work for the opposite too. So if you have a negative experience, you'll drop below the happiness baseline or the hedonic baseline, but then ultimately you'll return to your baseline. But now the interesting thing with this baseline, which appears to be set and we always have a return to, right? There is one thing that can change this baseline, right? And it is actually doing acts of gratitude, helping people, learning from mistakes, and exercise. So the one thing that can move this hedonic baseline on a permanent basis are things like helping others, practicing gratitude, learning from your mistakes, and exercise. So let's take a look at gratitude today, and particularly gratitude in business, because I imagine the people that are on this webinar are either business owners, thinking of starting their own business, entrepreneurs in some shape or form, or perhaps you even have a full-time job, and this can apply for everyone. So the impact of gratitude goes far broader and deeper in both business and personal settings. And really being grateful in our everyday lives is actually a powerful strategy for improving our effectiveness as leaders and strengthening all the relationships that we rely on in business. And in countless studies, so study after study, social scientists have proved that a grateful person can definitely go further and accomplish more. And not only that, but from a business perspective, gratitude actually has the ability to give you the competitive edge. So let's look at 5 different areas where it can give you a competitive edge. Number 1, managing stress, okay? Entrepreneurs are notorious for dealing with a lot of stress. We often deal with a lot of loneliness, challenges. It's always very risky. It can be very stressful. And actually 72% of entrepreneurs report some kind of mental health issue, be it depression, anxiety. And so gratitude becomes such a powerful force for supporting our physical and mental well-being. And people who are grateful experience fewer aches and pains. They're less impacted by negative emotions like envy or resentment or frustration. Number 2, networking and relationship building. It's been proved time and time again that acknowledging and thanking a person that you meet for the first time or even the second or at a networking event helps to solidify and create the relationship between you, and has them sort of think about you more often in that context. So excellent for networking and building business relationships. Number 3, gaining and retaining customers. I am sure that you yourself have had experiences where you were acknowledged or thanked by a business, or they went the extra mile to assist you or help you, that you still talk about that business today. So I encourage you to acknowledge your customers, send them thank you notes, pick up the phone, tell them you appreciate them, because I promise you it helps with the bottom line. Sometimes even sending them tangible gifts or a discount of some sort, just to express your appreciation to them. Number 4, how it can help you in business is motivating and retaining your employees. Okay, So as much as 71% of American employees do not feel fully engaged at work. And the reason? The reason is because they feel unappreciated. That is the top reason. I've done countless projects where people were volunteering, they were not paid a cent, and I assure you, acknowledging people time after time and appreciating them for what they bring to the table, no matter how small, helps them feel validated and satisfied with their job and really just want to help even more. So employees who get acknowledged and thanked definitely feel more trusting, they feel more satisfied, they perform better, and they experience one thing that's very, very important is organizational loyalty, because you'll find that sometimes an employee will stay in a job or a current position where they feel acknowledged and appreciated as opposed to going to somewhere where they don't. And then lastly, number 5 is gratitude helps having a happier family and environment around you. Now, you know that being an entrepreneur oftentimes can be very, very lonely, and you have a support group around you in the way of friends and family. And they are often, unfortunately, the ones who have to put up with, the disappointments, things not working out so well. They sort of get the brunt of it. And so to stop every now and then and to acknowledge and appreciate and thank this amazing support system, be it your spouse, your boyfriend, your kids, who actually have to put up with you on a day-to-day basis and have supported you in this amazing journey and know will be your biggest cheerleaders in the journey to come. So now that we've spoken about gratitude in business, I'd like to take you through a couple of exercises. And if there's one thing that I would like to achieve today is to take you on a deeper journey through gratitude, okay? And I mean, look, for sure, gratitude is definitely the buzzword at the moment, but a lot of it tends to be very superficial. So, it's surface level. There's, grateful for the weather, grateful for your home, grateful for your family, etc. But really what I'd like to do is take you on a much deeper journey through gratitude. And before we get started on the examples, on the exercises, I'd like to give you just an example of what I'm talking about. So it was probably 4 or 5 weeks ago, I was on a webinar myself where I was the participant. And it was an international webinar, and the leader, who is very well known, I had not heard him speak before, but he got on to the webinar and started his introduction with, he said something to the effect of, today I would like to share with you about how last night I was chopping the vegetables to make a salad. And I thought to myself, wow, like this is going to be one boring introduction, because how much can you possibly say about a salad? But again, over and over, I have to remind myself to keep my judgment in place, and I sat and I listened. And this gentleman proceeded to say how the evening before he was at home preparing his dinner, and that meant chopping up the salad. He took out all the various vegetables, laid them out on a counter, and started cutting them. And then he started becoming present to each individual vegetable. All right. So let's say the red peppers first. He started to sort of look into the red pepper and how it got there. All right. And he started to think about and acknowledge all the people along the way. Okay. All the people along the way that made that red pepper appear on his counter. All right. He acknowledged the fact that someone somewhere out there has dedicated their whole entire life to cultivating, growing, caring for, picking, packaging, transporting, all the intermediate steps in between to make it possible for that red pepper to arrive on his counter, right? And he did that from vegetable to vegetable. Next were the mushrooms that someone somewhere out there had spent and dedicated an entire life to growing and cultivating that mushroom and to make it appear. And it wasn't just from his country. They were coming from all different countries. So the pilot who is responsible for the plane to get it there, the trucker, the people in the supermarket, the people who cultivate them on a daily basis. And then all of a sudden, this array of vegetables, which, you know, people don't even take notice of, became this miracle of collaboration and effort and, you know, contribution from all different countries all over the world, and passing through so many hands and processes to have it all appear there. And I was just astounded. I thought it was one of the most powerful introductions I've ever heard, because to take something as basic as a salad and look into it so deeply was just incredible. So I would like to take you through some gratitude exercises to develop the skill of looking deeper into gratitude with you. And I'd like you to take your pen and paper, right? And Kerry, I'm not seeing you at the moment, but if you could let me know how many people are on the webinar at the moment.
Sure, Gaia. Hi.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Put the chat out. We have 11.
Fabulous. Well, hi everyone, and I'm sorry that I can't see you. But okay, if everyone is ready to, and Kerry, I'm going to rely on you a little bit for this part. If you could get your pen and paper, and for 2 minutes, just 2 minutes, I would like you to write down just 5 things straight off the bat that you are grateful for right now, okay? And what I'm going to ask is for some of you to share. You can either put them in the chat, or you can put your hands up, and Kerry will take your feedback and send it through to me. So let's start that now. So just a pen and paper, and for 2 minutes, write down just 5 things that you are grateful for right now, and if you could share them with us after.
Gaia, I just made you a co-host, so
Hear it now?
now I do. Yep, now I do.
Okay, perfect. right, who is ready to share one or two of the things that you are grateful for?
Do you want me to share some of them?
Oh, actually, I can see some of them. So Caroline shares life, health, business, education, and family. Excellent. Car, condo, family, friends, health, clients. Excellent. Good. Being alive, my family, and not having COVID. Excellent. All right, so on to exercise 2, and thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate it. So exercise number 2, we're going to take another 2 minutes, and this time I want you to take a look at your hand. Okay, pick left or right, it doesn't matter. And I want you to turn it over and just have a look at it, the front, the back of it. Okay, it's there all day long, helping you with a million tasks. It doesn't really get noticed all that much, doesn't get given too much attention. And I'd like you to write 5 things that you're grateful for about your hand. And I encourage you to try and look a little bit deeper. Okay, like you may have nice nail polish on or a great manicure or whatever, but start to look a little bit deeper, so into, you know, the inner workings of your hand, or how it connects to your brain, or what it does for you on a day-to-day basis. And then we're going to share that again after 2 minutes. So again, we're going to take 2 minutes, pick a hand, look at it, and write down 5 things that you are grateful for about your hand. Hearing the music now?
Yes, I can hear.
Wonderful. Okay, are we ready to share? So if someone could share just 1 or 2 things. So let's see, all 5 fingers attached, excellent, helping others, able to grip things and open items, all nerve functionality, I have 2, and I have all fingers per hand, excellent. You guys are doing an awesome job, thank you. All right, and now we're going to take it 1 step further and go a little bit deeper. And I'd like you to take a look at just one thumb, like this, okay? And again, in 2 minutes, write to me the stuff that you are grateful for just 1 thumb. And again, try to not look at the surface, but imagine what it would be like drinking your morning coffee without this thumb, or making a phone call without this thumb, or typing an email on a computer without this thumb. So I'm going to start the music again in 2 minutes. If you could write down 5 things that you are grateful for about just your thumb. who would like to share what they came up with? Great. Represents strength, complete a firm grip. Anyone else? Open and fasten buttons. Imagine what it's like being able to or getting dressed without the use of a thumb. Amazing. Helps me work out and stay fit. Awesome. Wow, you guys are coming up with some great ones. So you can see how this exercise of just looking a little bit deeper and stopping to reflect on just one little item or one part of your body or something like that, can really develop this huge sense of gratitude and how much there is to be grateful for around you on a day-to-day basis, despite all the difficulties and challenges that are going on at the moment. So now I'd like to take this practice of gratitude, and I'd like to go into the different types of gratitude. So believe it or not, there are actually different types of gratitude. And there are two main ones that I would like to talk to you about today. And the one is reactive gratitude, which is the one most of us are familiar with. And that is the practice of, something has happened in your life, or, situations unfold, and then there's the being grateful for that. So it's reactive gratitude. So it's for things that have essentially happened in the past. But then I'd like to introduce you also to something called proactive gratitude. And this is giving thanks for things that haven't yet occurred, but that you are creating and imagining will occur. All right. And giving thanks for them before they have occurred. All right. So reactive looks in the past, okay, or in the present, and proactive gratitude looks at things in the future that haven't yet happened. All right. And now I'd like to take a look at your businesses. All right. So what I'd like you to do is we're going to take three to 4 minutes. Okay. And we're going to write a list of and practice reactive gratitude. So if you have started a business, or you are, you already have yours, or you're about to, or you work for a company, it doesn't really matter. Okay. But take your business or your company or whatever it is and write down in 3 or 4 minutes as many things that you can, okay, about your business that you're grateful for. And I know it's a challenging time at the moment because a lot of people are losing employees, they're losing money, things aren't as, going as we had planned. But there's still, I promise you, a lot to be grateful for. So take a look at, for example, the people that your business has connected you to, or things that you've learned, or skills that you've developed thanks to your business, or the location, how it challenges you, the creativity that it allows you, or you might even just like the coffee at work. That's fine too. So roughly 3 minutes of everything that you're grateful for that has happened in your company or in your business over the last, let's look at 1 month. So let's take from the beginning of October and just look there. And if you need your phone or your calendar or look through your photos as prompts, please feel free to do that. Okay. And then we'll come back and share. I'd love it if you guys could share some of the items that you have in the chat about things that you're grateful for in your business that has happened over the past month and a half. Okay, so we have Kanisha, the ability to service the elderly and disabled kids and adults. Wow. Able to start a business in the middle of a pandemic. Agreed, 100%. I did too. Having the opportunity to meet some great people, connections while networking and growing the business. Awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's amazing. All right, and now we're going to move over to proactive gratitude. So now, again, you're going to say to me, but Gaia, this hasn't even happened yet. How can I be thankful for it? But it's really about living in this state of gratitude for things that haven't even happened, but you can create that they will. So let's take 2 or 3 minutes to write down as many things as you possibly can that you think are going to happen between, or that you are creating will happen between now and the end of the year around your business. So it might be taking on a new employee that, you know, makes your life so much easier, or learning a new skill, or changing businesses completely, or meeting new people that will connect you to new opportunities. Create it however you like. So we're going to take 2 to 3 minutes, and this is proactive gratitude. So looking into the future for what has not yet happened but will. Okay, anyone ready to share? So they're proactive gratitude, things that haven't yet happened for their business, but that will. So my business will be more diverse. Excellent. Assets will be tripled in the near future. Love it. And helping more of the young entrepreneurs achieve their goals. Excellent. Thank you so much. That's great. So you can see you can create gratitude even around things that haven't even happened yet. My mastermind grows past 100. Love you to life ambassadors impacted over 100,000 lives. Wow, these are amazing. Well done, everyone. So inspiring. All right, one super last exercise, quick one. I want you to think about the client or the colleague that you work with that irritates you and annoys you the most. And I want you to write one thing, you don't have to name them, one thing in the chat that you're grateful for them. We're not even going to turn on the music. Go ahead. So while you guys are writing, so again, just to repeat that, pick one person in your work environment. So it could be a colleague who's annoying or a client that's super demanding and all of that. I just want you to write one thing that you're grateful for about that person and just put it in the chat when you're ready. So because we need to, let me see, keeps me humble and teaches me patience. Good. Such a sweet girl and so thoughtful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So you can see how you can find gratitude even in the people that are challenging or difficult. And I encourage you to do it as often as possible. How I can overcome evil with good. Excellent. All right, so we're going to have to start wrapping things up a little bit here. I wanted to very quickly share with you some gratitude practices that I have that I use on a daily basis that may be useful to you. One is I use an app called Grateful, and there's so many different apps for gratitude online. You can pick the one that works the best for you. But I like this one because I can input what I want and it sends me prompts morning and night. So what I do is I set it to remind me in the morning when I wake up to write 10 things that I'm grateful for that are going to happen during the day. And then in the evening, I look back on the day and I write 10 things that happened during the day that I was grateful for. Now, the rule that I have for myself that makes me sort of look deeply into gratitude is that I'm never allowed to repeat the same entry twice. So I cannot put, love the weather today and then write it again tomorrow and the next day. Every single entry has to be unique and different. So it's really forced me to look. The second thing that I encourage you to do is I have a gratitude monthly sunrise beach meditation that we put together with a friend. Now, during COVID, we moved it online. And what we do is we get together as a group and we do a beach sunrise meditation. And then we spend like 10 to 15 minutes journaling about everything that we were grateful for the month before. And then we spend another 10 minutes doing proactive gratitude of everything that we are grateful for that hasn't happened. And then we share it in a group. And I assure you, it is the most beautiful experience. It's such an awesome way to close off the month and to start off the new month. It's a game changer. And then lastly, I wanted to give you one because now we're moving into the season of gratitude and giving thanks with Thanksgiving. And I looked online at a couple of different gratitude Thanksgiving practices, and I loved this one. It's called Gratitude Table. And I know some of you might be meeting in person and social distancing, but also some of you might just be meeting online, and you'll have it whichever way works best for you. But the practice was to take an index card, give one to each person, and you write the person's name to your left and one thing that you're grateful for, and then pass the card to the person on your right, and they add what they are grateful for about that person. And this keeps going around the table until you've completed the round. And then one person is tasked with reading all the cards out loud to everyone else. I mean, I think what an awesome way to connect to everyone and give thanks to everyone and have, people around you feel acknowledged and loved for Thanksgiving. So that's just an idea to put there. And look, I encourage you to create your own ones and share them with other people and all of that. And we've got 3 minutes to wrap up. So I would like to thank and acknowledge each of you for participating and more than anything for sharing. It's been an honor and a privilege to be here with you today. I cannot see you, but I can definitely feel you. Thank you so much to Kerry Szymanski, Dr. Kerry Szymanski, and to the Tampa Bay Women's Business Group. And I really and sincerely hope that you guys will take on this life-changing and valuable practice in your personal and business life. And I'm so grateful for your listening today and to have spent this time with you. And I wish you from the bottom of my heart a wonderful Thanksgiving. And I'm going to stay on a little bit longer for anyone who has questions for me. I'll be happy to answer them. And I'm going to pass it over to Dr. Kerry, who's going to pick a name of someone who's on the group who wins the item from Life of Gaia. Thank you again.
All right, thank you, everyone. We have a few minutes left. Does anyone have any questions they'd like to ask Gaia when we've got her on the line?
Kerry?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, can you? All right. So I'm going to pick a name in just a moment.
Thank you.
Okay, hang on one sec. All right. So I'm ruffling through my hat. I wrote all the names down. And Shirley Johnson, you are our winner today. Shirley Johnson, if you can just type in the chat box. I'm going to type my email address, Shirley, if you can send me your info. Gaia, what do you need? Her mailing address?
An email address and phone number, if she can just send it to you privately. Congratulations, Shirley.
All right, congratulations, Shirley. And I'm going to share real quick. So we've got another webinar on Friday on Microsoft Teams. I've got a webinar coming up December 2nd on Laugh It Off, where I'm going to be talking about how comedy can help with emotional wellness and help entrepreneurs. If anyone wants to contact us, and if you have any questions or would like to get in touch with us about business coaching or upcoming webinars and some of our trainings that we do, here's our phone number, email, and website address. So again, I wanted to take this time to thank Gaia so much for her time. Gaia, I think you should be on Super Soul Sunday with it. Move over, Oprah Winfrey. This is awesome. This was great. And if anyone wants to participate with the beach gratitude, is there a link, the Zoom link, or how do they join that?
Yes, we have a page on Facebook, which I would be happy to send to you, or I'll write my email in here if people would like to contact me. There we go. And that happens in the South Florida area. So I know a lot of your participants are up in the Tampa Bay area, but you know, you can start them anywhere. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you too.
All right, guys, thank you so much. I'm gonna just grab Shirley's info real quick. All right, so again, everyone, thank you to Gaia. Great day. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us. Have a wonderful afternoon, everyone.
Thank you, Kerry. Happy Thanksgiving to you too.
Take care. Bye-bye, everybody.